Hi kids, Mr. Clark here. How is everyone going? I hope everyone's having fun at home with all the different activities. Now, it is Friday, so that is Fun Tie Friday. And boy, has Mr. Clark got a fun one today. It is paint splattered all over his tie. Now, I love painting and I love drawing. I'm actually an artist. So, Mr. Clark's got his fun paint tie on today. And look who's here to join us. It is Clark the Bear. And of course, Clark's got his fun ribbon on for Fun Tie Friday. So, once again, we are going to be reading Chapter 5 of The Adventures of the Wishing Chair. So, all this week we've been reading this story and it has been a blast. Now, remember last chapter, we ran in with a very angry wizard. And this chapter, I'm excited to see what Peter and Molly get up to. Let's get started. Chapter 5, Poor Lost Chinky. Once a dreadful thing happened when the children were adventuring on the wishing chair. It had grown its wings most conveniently when all three of them were in the playroom. So they jumped on and were soon flying high in the air. As they were flying, they heard a loud droning noise and looked around. "It's an aeroplane," shouted Peter. "I say, it's very near us," cried Molly. So it was. It didn't seem to see them all. It flew straight at them at the edge of one widespread wing, just touched their flying chair, giving it a tremendous jerk. Molly and Peter were sitting tightly in the seat, but Chinky was on the back, and he was jolted right off the chair. Molly clutched him as he fell, but she only just touched him. The two children watched in the greatest dismay as they fell down and down and down. "Oh, Peter," cried Molly in despair. Poor Chinky. Whatever will happen to him?" The airplane flew on steadily, never guessing that it had touched the wishing chair. Peter turned pale and looked at Molly. "We must make the chair go down and see if Chinky is hurt," he said. "Oh dear, what a dreadful thing to happen, chair. Fly down to earth." The chair flapped its red wings and flew slowly down to the ground. It stood hit there, and the children jumped off. They were in an open country with wide fields all around them. There were no sign of Chinky at all. They heard the sound of one chanting song, and saw coming towards them a round, fat little man carrying a bundle on his head. "Hi," called Peter. "Have you seen a little pixie falling out of the sky?" "Is that a riddle?" the round little man said, grinning stupidly. "I can ask you one too. Have you seen a horse that quacks like a duck?" "Don't be silly," said Molly. "This is serious. Our friend has fallen out of the sky." "Well, tell him not to do it again," said the round little man. "All that fell out of the sky today was a large snowflake. Good morning." He went off on his way, his bundle bobbing on his head. The children were very angry. "Making a joke about a serious thing like poor Chinky falling out of the sky," said Molly, with tears in her eyes. "Horrid fellow." "Here, someone else," said Peter. "Hi, stop a minute." The someone was a round, fat person also, carrying a bundle on her head and singing a little song. She stopped when the children asked her to stop. "Have you seen a pixie falling out of the sky?" asked Peter. "No, have you?" said the round little woman, grinning. "Of course," said Molly impatiently. "Fibber," said the round woman. "A big snowflake fell out of the sky earlier, but nothing else." "They've got snowflakes on the brain," said Peter, as the woman went on her way singing along. "Come on, Molly, we'd better go and look for Chinky ourselves. We know that it was somewhere near here that he fell. We'll carry the chair between us so that we may have it safely. I don't trust these silly little people." They carried the chair along and came to a marketplace. It was full of the same round, fat people, all humming and singing. A town crier was going round the market singing a bell and crying, "Oways, oways, Dame Apple Pie has lost her spectacles. Oways, oways." Then Peter had a splendid idea. "I say, Molly, let's tell the town crier to shout out about Chinky. We'll offer a reward to anyone that can tell us about him. Someone must have seen him fall from the sky." So before very long, the town crier was ringing his bell, crying loudly, "Oways, oways! A reward is offered to anyone having news of a pixie who fell from the sky. Oways!" Molly and Peter stood on a platform so that people might know whom to go if they had bad news. To their delight, there came quite a crowd of people to them. We've news, they cried, struggling to get Peter first. "Well, where did you see the pixie fall?" asked Peter of the first little man. "Sir, I saw a big snowflake fall in Buttercup Field," she said. "Don't be foolish," said Peter. "I said a pixie, not a snowflake." There's a picture, kids, of the Molly and Peter in the town. There's the Oways, oways man, and these are all the people in the town trying to help. But so far, we're only hearing about a snowflake, not about poor Chinky. Let's keep reading and see. What do you think, Clark? I'm excited to see what happens with Chinky. Don't you know the difference between pixies and snowflakes? We all know that snowflakes fall from the sky. That is no news at all. Next, please. But the next person said the same thing, and the next, and the next. But the next person said something different. And then the kids listened. "We want our reward," suddenly shouted someone. "We have given you news. But you have given us no reward." The kids were a bit confused. "You haven't given us the right news," shouted Peter angrily. "That doesn't matter," shouted a little folk, looking angry. They looked rather funny too, because some reason or other, they all carried their bundles and baskets balanced on their head. "Give us our reward." They swarmed towards the platform on which the two children were standing, said Molly, and Peter suddenly felt frightened. "I don't like this, Molly," said Peter. "Let's go. These silly creatures think that pixies and snowflakes are the exact same thing. We'll certainly get out of here back on our wishing chair." Molly jumped into the chair, which was just near them on the platform. Peter sat on the arm and cried out loudly, "Home chair, quickly!" The chair flapped its wings and rose up, but it didn't rise very high. Only just above the chair were the angry townspeople. Its leg began to jerk in and out, and to Peter's enormous astonishment, the chair kicked off bundles of pots and baskets from the heads of the furious marketers. Peter began to laugh, for really it was the most comical to see the chair playing such a trick, but Molly was in tears. "What's the matter?" asked Peter, drying her tears with a handkerchief. "It's Chinky," sobbed Molly. "I did love him so. Now I feel we shall never see him again." Peter's eyes filled with tears too. "He was such a good friend," he said. "Oh, Molly, it would be so dreadful if we never saw him again." There's Molly and Peter sitting on the wishing chair with things flying off the top. They flew home in silence. The chair flew in at the playroom door and the children jumped off. "It will never be so nice going on adventures again," said Molly. "Why ever not?" said a merry little voice, and the children turned round slowly. For the voice, it was Chinky, the pixie, sitting on the floor reading a book. "Chinky, we thought you were lost forever when you fell from the chair," cried Molly, hugging him hard. "Don't break me in half," said Chinky. "I wasn't hurt at all. I just changed myself into a big snowflake and fell into Butterfield Cup. Then I caught the next bus back to the bottom of the garden, and here I am. I've been waiting simply ages for you." "A snowflake!" cried Peter. "So that's why everyone talked about snowflakes. Now I understand." He told Chinky all about their adventures and how the pixie laughed when he heard about the chair kicking the bundles of heads of the angry people. "I wish I'd been there," he said. "Come on now, what about a game of Ludo?" And that is the end of chapter 5 of the Adventures of the Wishing Chair. Now, I'm absolutely loving this story, and I hope everyone is at home. Now, it's Friday, so there won't be any videos over the weekend, but there'll be more stories on Monday. So have a great weekend, kids, and Clark and I will see you back on Monday for some more story time. See you, everyone.